I have a JDM RB2 Honda Odyssey. Oh, I've already got grease on my face. Was this messed up already by the previous owner? Show people how to get things done without having to drill them out. Don't hit your camera. Oh, yeah. Google's your friend. And then this thumb is the one I haven't got grease on. Why are you just in the way, you jerk? Got my nipple here. No issues at all with it, the stupid squealer. What's up, gearheads? I'm back in the garage again. Oh, I've already got grease on my face. That's good. Back in the garage again with a new project, my new daily driver. I said I was selling the Crown. Maybe that wasn't the best decision, but I have a JDM RB2 Honda Odyssey Absolute. 4-wheel drive, K24. It's pretty interesting. It's a wagon, not a van. But yeah, it's the issue I get is the import stuff, and you're not necessarily 100% certain of what might be wrong with it. I've already got some wheels on it. I've already cleaned it up and waxed it, so the water beads nicely. It's a rainy day, but one of the rear brakes is making a little bit of noise. The one on the other side actually already did that one, but the brakes are making a little bit of noise, so I'm just gonna replace them. Now, the interesting thing with these RB2s, the JDM Odysseys, is they're kind of a part spin car, from a North American perspective anyways. The front end is Acura TSX. The rear is mostly similar to a CRV, being that it is all-wheel drive. So, there is differential and axles and whatnot. But one of the cool things with that is that you can use local parts. So, locally available parts. What I've got here to do my rear brake job, I've already done the other side so that I don't look like a complete idiot, is rotors off of a 2005-2006 Honda CRV, the matching pads, and a brand new caliper. Got these from Rock Auto. They're really easy to find, not that expensive. For both sides to completely redo the rear brakes, $422 Canadian. You can just change the rotors and pads to for the ones that are available for the JDM vehicle without changing the caliper, but the CRV caliper is about 1 millimeter thinner and they can shutter a bit, so it's recommended if you're doing it to just change the caliper too. These are the factory brakes off the JDM Odysseys. I believe it's pretty much the same for the RB1, RB2. The RB1s are the front wheel drive ones, and the RB2s have the all-wheel drive. So, this has to come off now. Same procedure you use for pretty much any other car. Undo the brake line one first, because it's gonna be hard to wrench on it when your caliper's free hanging. So I'll undo that. One thing I'm gonna put on it, let me go grab, hold on a second. I'm such an organized worker. One thing I recommend getting, so you don't have to bleed the entire system with air traveling up the brake lines, is get one of these brake line clamp pliers. So yeah, I'm just gonna put that on the brake line as close to the caliper as makes sense. Squeeze it, here, I'll stand you there, and put that there, and it stays clamped. So we'll only lose like a tablespoon or two of brake fluid, and then bleeding will only take like 2 or 3 minutes per side. But there's a little trick. Don't just try and clamp it with anything, you'll tear or mark your brake lines. It has to be a relatively soft plastic. So it's not an expensive tool, recommend it for sure. Alright, so this is proven to be a little difficult to remove, so I'll use this opportunity to show you another little trick. But if you take another wrench and place it over like that, you have a nice little extension so that you get more leverage. Yes, I'm filming. Sometimes I do just talk to myself though. I'm gonna leave this in the video. but there. So you can double up your wrenches like this. Now the fun part. Got all these off. 14 mil wrench to take those off. 12 mil to take this off. We're not using those anymore. So I gotta get these out. Was this messed up already by the previous owner? Uh-oh. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hammer them into the screws. Oh man, this one looks like it's already been rounded by the last owner. I might be in trouble. I might be in big trouble. Oh no, yep. Okay, well, I don't think anything's gonna get that out now. It's already rounded by the, so these are not the original brakes, it would seem. It sucks. This one might grip all right. Make a YouTube video, be helpful, show people how to get things done without having to drill them out. For the record, on the other side, I didn't have to drill them out. The tricks worked. Someone already rounded off one of these, so to them. And then once I drilled one, I already had the drill out, I just did the other one. So. Anyways, back to the fun. All right, so this is where you got your adjustment for, oh, that ripped. Lovely. Come on, get it. Oops, well, it's in the brake now. Gotta get it out now. This is your adjustment. Oh, there it is right there. Okay. So pop that out. There's a little, there's like a turnbuckle, so to speak, for adjusting. It's like a self-adjuster. But generally, if they should be set up with the right one on the right side, where if you flick the little teeth up, it makes the brakes tighter. If you flick them down, it makes them looser. Before taking them off, it's easier. If you can get to it, go in there and flick it down to try and loosen the brakes a bit. Because even if your parking brake's not engaged, which I hope it isn't at this point, you probably want to loosen them a bit. And then this can still be caught on there, because of course, why wouldn't it get caught and be stuck? So hit it over, different spots, get it. Don't hit your camera. Pull as you tap. Yeah. That's a winning method. Oh yeah. Look at that. And you can retrieve the bits of rubber you shoved in there. All right, so 2005, 2006 Honda CRV rear rotors. They're like a millimeter thinner than the Honda Odyssey ones. So from my understanding, reading the forums online, some people have just changed the rotors, the pads, and left the Odyssey rotors, or ordered Odyssey rotors from Japan and used them. But I mean, when in Rome and you have the wheel off and the brakes off, I'm changing the rotor. The caliper is only an extra, I don't know, 10 minutes of work, 15 minutes of work. So, cleaned all the residue from the oils they leave on there for shipping. That's ready to go on. And let's line this up as best we can the way it went. Even if I'm not going to use those retaining screws anymore. Here. Direct fitment. All right. This is the new caliper. I'm just going to take apart the bracket from the piston assembly. So there are some shims to go onto this. We'll just clip them in. Now, the one thing that's a little more difficult doing this as opposed to doing just a regular caliper replacement is when you're upgrading or doing a swap of some kind to something that wasn't OEM is you don't have the other side for reference. So doing the first side first so that I look like I know what I'm doing on this side is helpful. Because there wasn't any reference as to how all these clips go and the order they have to be snapped in. But if you're doing it, that's how they go. I had to look up images of how they were assembled on the CRV. But Google is your friend. Use it. It's maybe how you got this video. So we can snap in our piston side brake pad. The other one kind of goes in once it's all on the rotor, I think. I think that's the right way to do it. It seems like that's what worked for me. So I use a little bit of silicone grease in all the contact points. I try to. Just reduces the likelihood of noise. And I don't know how critical this is, but it can be a little temperamental, these little. And then this thumb is the one I haven't got grease on, so try not to get grease on your pads. If they get shiny, it's probably full of crap. So that was put on properly. Let's go bolt this to the car. All right, so we're back at the car. Next step is to put this on the pad bracket. Now I'm going to use, didn't come with new bolts for that portion, so I'm going to use the factory bolts, but with anti-seize on them. Because even if I don't keep my cars long enough to be the one who works on this next time, I have a YouTube channel. People look at my videos before they buy my stuff, and I generally don't want people being cursing the last owner for how difficult something was to do. That just slides in there, and the OEM bolt threads right in. There, look at that. Alright. And now this one. Let's see what we can do here. Squealer's in the way on this side now too. Why are you just in the way, you jerk? I'm gonna cut you off. I am, because fuck you. Alright. One thing you might have to do, I found I had to do, for whatever reason, this one pad wouldn't work on that side because the little bent squealer piece that touches the rotor when the pad gets low, it was in the way on that side. So I figured left versus right. The other one popped on, no problem. This one won't go on this side either. So the squealer just chopped it off. Angle grinder. Saves the day. So it's greased. Pop it back in. I didn't get grease on the pad. Good. If you're ever doing this, make sure the bleed nipple is on the top, because while brake fluid is oily and lighter than water, air is lighter than that. So you want your bleed nipple on the top, otherwise they're on the wrong side. So got my nipple here on the top. Let's see how this goes now. Oh, look at that. No issues at all with it, the stupid squealer. I'm gonna put a little bit of anti-seize on everything because I am very anti-seize. You press the brakes, brake fluid goes through there, pops out the end there, so there's a little hole through the thing. But we don't want it coming out there on that side. There we go. Okay, make sure the old ones come off before you put the new ones on. That should seal nicely, I hope. Nice and tight. Now we can release this clamp. Brake fluid dripping. Now to bleed it. Before you go and bleed your brakes, pop this off, top it right up to max. If you use the clamp on the brake lines near the end, you should have plenty of capacity there to finish bleeding without going below the minimum, but it's always good to have the hood open and keep an eye on it because you don't want to run out of brake fluid. So for my bleeding setup, I've got just a tube and a jar. I get the wrench on there first. Get the tube on. Now I can watch if there's bubbles or not. And then I like to get someone to help me. Yeah, press down. And crack it loose. Okay, up and then back down again. Up and then back down again. So you can get a closer view of that. All right, one more time. Up and back down. No air bubbles. So that's bled. Yep. We're all done.